So, hello and welcome back to the next episode of the Self-Development with Tactics podcast. As you can see in the background, this is not the SamuelThomasDavis.com website, Samuel Thomas Davis, but it's rather the PaulMiners.com website, which actually was a book that I quite have forgotten about, to be really honest. I've forgotten about it and I just, really have seen, because I actually wanted to start something else. And then I was like, I kind of feel like that there is something left I didn't do. And so therefore I thought like, I should probably, just, look for my channel or look on my channel and see if there's actually something that I've kind of missed out on. And actually I have. So actually left out Never Eat Alone, which is actually, because I do remember Never Eat Alone by Keith Ferrazzi. I actually kind of remembered because of his name. And as I've just seen, there was a video with a description that was not filled with any information about a book. I just really knew, I know this is totally something that I haven't finished. But therefore, and I probably know that I've started or stopped here, but at part 3. So therefore, we will just go ahead with part 3. And yeah. I hope you have a wonderful day, or you had a wonderful day, or you will have a wonderful day and or night, whatever. But yeah, to not lose any time and to maybe get through the whole one today, I'm gonna start just right now. So part 3, the skill set. Always be prepared. I'm sorry. Is this working? Why isn't it? I'm so sorry that I just have to move it a little. Okay, now it's working. It's working like I wanted to work. So Ferrazzi explains the importance of doing your homework before you meet any new people. I think this is important to just really get a conversation going and to really just have a conversation, some kind of valuable also for the other person. If you just, know a little bit about their background, know a little bit about them and, whatsoever, it is at my point of view very important also for job interviews to actually know a little bit about the company you're just attending to work at and or about the people who are just, they're just interviewing you or just the company or the agency where you just kind of send an kind of whatever in proposal. Is it a proposal? I don't know. Never mind. And so whatever you're just, getting interviewed by, you should always have some questions to ask as well. So I just recently had a job interview for my internship this summer, and I just really prepared myself for this. So I just really looked at the agency. It is actually a graphic design and marketing agency. And not, it's probably not marketing, but, rather PR, which is, some kind of marketing, but I know this is nothing that I actually just really point out. Okay, we do marketing, but yeah. So the thing is, I just really informed myself. I've really just looked at the company, looked at the agency, and looked what they already did, and I just asked myself, why did they do this stuff and that stuff, and some things that I could have asked them or could ask them. And actually, they did a lot for Red Bull, and especially for their special events like the cliff diving or the ice crash or whatever it is called. They did the logos for that. They just look pretty nice. I don't know. It's just in this kind of Red Bully style. They have an actual own style at my point of view, which is not something that's quite new. So it's pretty old style. I some kind of feel like, but yeah. So you want to leave them with a good lasting impression. The best way to do this is to research who they are, what their business is, and what else is important to them. Researching people should be easy enough. Google their name and see what you can find. The goal is to build a personal relationship that will benefit you both. And this is actually the case, and this is actually really something that I for myself want to point out, and this should be pointed out as well. It's definitely something that should benefit both. It's not like you will just get something from them, but you actually have to be sure that you can give them something. If it's, your time, if it's, your skills that you're having, if it's, whatever you're having, you just have to be sure that you can give them something if you really want them to give you something as well. Yeah. cold calls and warm calls. Cold calls are actually some of the things that I think that I just don't like. I've never done them quite. I just really don't like talking on the phone at all, which is one of the reasons why I would be very fucking interested to actually kind of being, kind of working at a company where I do just have to do it, or just be in such a position where I do just have to do it. This would be just really something that I would appreciate, and really something that I could grow by, I think, because this is something, I don't know why. Maybe it's just because it's our generation. I kind of feel like a lot of people don't really want to talk on the phone anymore, and I kind of feel like, this is, might be just our generation. I just had to see if the music is actually going on my phone, which is totally something that is happening quite often, which is something, when it happens, it's just really fucked up, because the whole episode is fucked. Happened to me one time, and fortunately enough, not one time again. So meeting someone for the first time or making a cold call is always going to be difficult. It's easy to procrastinate or avoid doing it all together. Ferrazzi explains that the best way to make the cold call is to plunge right in, don't hesitate. And this is actually something that I quite always try to do. I just really use the 1, 2, 3 technique, as I just would call it, which really helped me out. So I always count 1, 2, 3, and I then do that particular thing that I want to do. I quite don't know if this is actually working for you as well. So it, kind of is working for me. Maybe it's just because I have the repetition. I'm just, used to it. I'm used to having it as just a pattern for me, which means that if I actually just count and I have in my mind that I just will do something afterwards, my brain just knows, okay, he actually will do it, and therefore I will just support him doing it. And therefore I quite think like, okay, it might not be working for you just in the very beginning, but it will definitely, in just a few, maybe days, maybe weeks, I don't know, I just don't have any numbers or anything, so but it is quite really working quite well, I think. This is just really helping me, because at my point of view, I don't know if it's, something that's scientifically kind of proven or whatever, but I kind of feel like in this time where just counting, my brain just some kind of shuts off. It just really focuses itself on kind of only counting it, and therefore I'm just really not in terms of like quite, so like, I don't want to do this, and the procrastinating stuff, I just really shut it down as well. And if I just count and afterwards I don't think anything, I just think about doing it, and then I go in and whatever I want to do and do it. And this, really often quite helped me to do what I wanted to do. So further to this, Ferrazzi explains that you need to warm up the cold call. You can do this by establishing a sense of credibility, find a mutual friend or acquaintance. Let's see how it's actually pronounced. Acquaintance, someone that you have in common, so you aren't a complete stranger. When talking, make sure you get your message across in a quick and conscious way. Don't beat around the bush. And remember, you should be focusing on what you can do for them. Definitely, because if you just really talk, in their terms, quite like, you just really talk in a way that they only are benefiting. You're only talking about them benefiting quite. This is just really something that I've been talking, about just so fucking often that I feel like I will never have to talk about it again. But I do also think like, not everybody was just quite going through all the other episodes I posted. So therefore I think I do just have to go through it anyway. So this is something that is from How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie, which is a particular awesome book, and I think everybody should read it. It's something a lot of people say. They always say like, everybody has to read it. It was such a great book and whatsoever. But at the end, I quite feel like, it was a pretty great book for me, which, doesn't have to be the same exact thing for you as well. So this happened to me. Just, a lot of people said, okay, this is a great book. But, when I was reading it and I was, going through it, I was like, okay, it is somehow great and I got something from it, but I either just knew a lot of it before or it some kind of got boring just, in the process. But But yeah, just really talking in terms of, the other person, in terms of them actually just, being the one that's being benefited, is just the way to go. Just being like, okay, in job interviews, the always exact example that I'm always making is, if you're in a job interview, or if you're just, writing cold emails, whatsoever, you should never talk about actually you wanting the job and you just, really need the money or whatever. Don't talk about you needing the job in, any way, in any possible version it could be. Just be like, okay, I want to contribute to your business. I want to help you grow your business. I want to help your business with the skills that I'm having, and I know I can help you. And this is then the really just exact way to go, because it just really show them, okay, he or she is very concerned about my company, and he or she actually wants my company to be just in a better place than it is now. And, who the fuck would not invite this person? This singular person that is actually applying this kind of technique and this, kind of the only one that is speaking in your terms. And, all the other ones are probably talking about their shit and them actually wanting, to have a job and whatsoever, and actually only talking about them, like, their skills and, so on and so on. But yeah. So Faraz explains that sometimes the hardest part is actually getting in touch with the right people. Many so-called important people have assistants and secretaries who seem to get in your way. The key is to have these people on your good side. They have the power to get you in touch with the right people. Appreciate and acknowledge their help. I think you should always appreciate and acknowledge their help. If it's, just really, a very low employee of any company whatsoever, I think everybody has the right to just getting appreciated about what they're saying. It's not about what kind of rank they are in their company, what position they are in the company. If it's the CEO or really the internship guy, probably have quite a lot of knowledge or quite a different perspective as you are having. So therefore, actually knowing what's going on in their head might be actually good. Even though it always comes up to you actually kind of just, keeping or giving a fuck about other people's opinions and or thoughts and, whatever. But yeah, I think you should always appreciate it and acknowledge it. It's something I kind of feel like, okay, should not always be about the people that, kind of helped you or, whatsoever. But yeah, never eat alone. Faraz explains the importance of keeping your social calendar full. Actually, reach out to people over breakfast, lunch, or dinner. Have multiple engagements lined up in a week, so you have got plenty of pipelines flowing. It's important to remain an active member in the social circles. You don't want to slip off the radar and become invisible. This might be actually kind of applied to some years ago. I think nowadays it's especially important to be active on social media, because this is just where the attention is right now. This is just where a lot of people are, and this is just, at my point of view, something that really could count for you and your business and you as a personal brand. Because what you can definitely see is that a lot of people who are just having a personal brand on, whatever social media platform out there, they're just really an advantage of, all the other people. Whether they are just actually more skilled than the other ones or not, doesn't have to do anything with it. It doesn't quite matter, at my point of view at least. A lot of people just get put on or get just better jobs and better opportunities because they are known. And maybe it's because just brands and companies know that, with their reach and with their audience, they can actually get something from them or whatever. I kind of feel like, okay, if you are known, this just really creates a lot of opportunities for you. Whether it's, interviews, whether it's just some kind of contracts with brands that you always wanted to work with, and whether it's your own product. You can definitely see that a lot of celebrities have their own makeup, as Kylie Jenner has, for example, or perfumery, which quite a lot of people have, like, David Beckham and or just, I think Justin Bieber as well. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Please correct me if... But so I think, at my point of view, just being known is just really creating for you just some kind of a good opportunity for a lot of things. So, but if I'm wrong at this point of view, or if you just think about it in a different way, just please let me know. I'm just really fucking interested in it. And, just DM me on whatever platform you would like. or is the most convenient to you, just, on quite every platform. So therefore, it doesn't quite matter. So never read alone. Ferrazzi explains the importance of, okay, I've read that. Yeah, I've read that. Part 4, follow-up is the key to success in any field. The follow-up, kind of email or message is something that I've been quite reading about before, or listening. No, I think it was actually reading. And I actually kind of, got as much information, the day before I had my job interview as possible. Because I thought like, okay, I just really have to do this because I needed the internship. I, basically needed it, and I got it, to just kind of spoil it. I could have actually made a great story out of it. It might have been a little more interesting, but everything went well, and I do think it is quite important to have a follow-up message, which means, or email, or whatever whatever you're doing, which means that after your job interview, or after your meeting, or after whatever you had, you should just, kind of send them a message, like, thanking them for their time, and just pointing out certain things that you like the most, which is also important, just, reconnect the whole situation with this particular meeting. This is something that I've read, and I kind of feel like, okay, this makes sense, because you actually, first of all, thanking somebody for the time is, at my point of view, something that's just so nice, and so, not cute, but so just nice. And I think people just really resonate with it, and just would like it if they just get appreciated for their time they spend with you. But also, just kind of really pointing out what you appreciated shows them that you actually kind of cared about what you and them were talking about, and you actually remember part of these things. And I think for me, this just really shows kind of maybe great engagement, or whatever you want to call it, actually. So the follow-up is the key to success in any field. Follow-up or fail. In such a fast-paced digital world, it's incomprehensible that only a small percentage of us decide to follow up once we have met someone new. I actually had to see if everything is working quite fine. Where did I stop? So when you meet someone with whom you want to establish a relationship, take the extra little time to ensure you won't be lost in their mental ethic. Is it ethic or ethic? It's ethic, actually. Ethic. No, ethic, because it's double T. So when you meet someone new, it is so important that you can ensure that they remember you and your name. In order to do this, you should follow up with them between 12 and 24 hours after meeting. It doesn't have to be between 12 and 24 hours. It doesn't have to be a big deal. Definitely not just, not overwhelm them with just an incredibly big text, which kind of maybe just lets them lose time or whatever. So it doesn't have to be a big deal, just a simple email will do. And when you meet them, try to give them a reason to follow up with you. Okay, this makes sense. Conferences and connecting. Ferrazzi explains that the key function of a conference is to meet like-minded people. These are the people who will help you and be able to offer advice. Ferrazzi has a few tips to get the most out of a conference. Help the organizer or be the organizer, which is, just makes sense that it is definitely a good thing, because actually you provide everything for the people that are coming. So you maybe even just provide drinks and, some food or whatever, which just really creates a great framework for you to actually being connected to. The thing is, if you're just organizer, if you're the person who actually leads this some kind of conference or meeting or whatever you want to call it, this just actually makes people more interested in meeting you, because you are actually the one that is kind of just really responsible for this kind of event just being organized or just being happen. Therefore, this is, first of all, a great way, but also I think because you then have the data of everybody, and, you just have to email them or call them or, whatever, and which is, always a good thing to have some kind of context. Listen to everyone, speak up, know who you need to talk to before you arrive. When it's break time, you need to be networking, follow up with everyone you meet. A conference isn't about the speakers, but the people who are attending. Definitely, Definitely. Even though, it might always be or also be about the speakers who actually are attending the conference as well, because they're actually the speakers. If it's like, there are a lot of speakers and, a lot of speakers are actually also in the kind of audience and whatsoever, could also be true. So quite always thinking about all situations or versions or variables that, could some kind of occur. Expansion. The key is to always be looking to expand your circle of friends and acquaintances. Ferrazzi explains that the best way to do this is to connect your inner circle with someone else's circle, which makes sense. If you do just have a circle connected with the other one, will just provide you with a lot more context than actually being like, I will just, meet this people or this person and then this person and this person, and eventually there will be some kind of friendship out of these threes and with you, and or maybe not. So this way you double the amount of people in your circle and those that you can call upon. It's like the internet, an interconnection series of links in which each link works collaboratively to strengthen and expand the overall community. Don't have a close network, ensure that your network is fluid and open. Always welcome new people in. And this is actually that I've been looking for in some kind of business and marketing and social media advice or terms for, because I actually thought like, okay, it would be nice to have a group of like-minded people, whether it's on WhatsApp or on just Instagram on a group, or just Facebook as a group, or Telegram, which is actually, if you didn't know, Telegram is also some kind of text messaging service as WhatsApp, but there are quite a lot of just a lot of groups, which actually you can actually join just by tapping a link or just typing in a link into your browser and opening them up in the Telegram app. And therefore this would be a pretty fucking great way to just get a lot of people together and actually being able to discuss certain things with them and whatever, just give advice and connect people with other people and and so on and so on and so on. Yeah. So this is actually something that I've been looking for, but on the other hand, I quite think like, okay, this would also be a great way for me to actually do, definitely. It would actually be a really great way. Maybe I'm even doing it, maybe even today. Small talk, the conversation that happens between two people who have just met, can be quite difficult, definitely, especially when you're just talking about shit the other person and or you as well aren't pretty much, caring about. But Ferrazzi explains that it is often the most important conversations that we have. When you meet someone new, have a goal to start a conversation that can continue for some time and establish a rapport with the other person. You should be confident that when you leave, you will left a good lasting expression. Ferrazzi emphasizes the importance of being yourself. Even to being vulnerable can be very effective. The key is to share information. This brings more power than withholding information ever can. It's also important to remember that nonverbal cues are just as important as what you're saying. Make eye contact, smile, lean in, etc. I've just totally made a whole video about body language. Just type in on my channel body language and there will be a total great summary of a lot of just things about body language, which just really helped me out, and I think that will just really help you out as well. So it really got a great great episode or episodes, because actually I made quite a few of them. Or you just type in the, what was it called? Fuck, man. The definitive book of body language summary. It should be on the powermoves.com website. And yeah, so it was totally a great video and all great summary, which a lot of content, a lot of detailed content. Sometimes there are spelling mistakes, as I remember correctly, but that's totally okay. You can just really live with it. So end small talk with an invitation to continue your relationship. Part 5: turning connections into compatriots. Is it compatriots? Compatriots. I think, I'm not sure. So Ferrazzi explains that when you are making new connections, it is important that you understand their mission. This is what makes them tick, what matters most to them. If you can unlock this, then you will be you will be one step close to establishing a long-lasting relationship. When figuring out someone's mission and motivation, the three main places to look are making money, finding love, or changing the world. Totally. And I think these three things, so making money, finding love, and changing the world, actually are also great questions to just, put into small talk. Just being like, yeah, okay, what do you want to change, or what change would you like to have in the world? This is something that's maybe a little bit too, ethics and morals and, whatsoever. But on the other side, it's just really something that I think most of the people have an opinion on, and most of the people can talk about it quite in a long, period of time. Success. Farazi reinforces the point that it is not about you or your success. You should focus on how you will make everyone else successful. If you can become indispensable, you will have a significant amount of time or power actually. And the best indispensable, you need to have plenty of information to offer, lots of useful contacts and goodwill. And the best sort of connection occurs when you can bring together two people from entirely different worlds. The strength of your network derives as much from the diversity of your relationships as it does from the quality or quantity. Pinging. Farazi explains the importance of what he calls pinging. Pinging is a quick, casual way to stay in touch. The key to maintaining a healthy relationship is to remain a regular contact. It's important that you establish your own personal way of touching base with people and do it regularly. So yes, there is grunt work involved. Pinging takes effort. That's the tough part. You have to keep up pinging and pinging and pinging and never stop. And you have to feed the fire of your network or it will wither or die. And this is actually something that I'm not quite concerned about, or I just realized that if I would actually being like, okay, I will just never put out any kind of posts, entirely for a week, this would just really fuck my account, and I probably know that a lot of followers will just, go away. I will, lose a lot of them, which is something that pretty much pisses me off on Instagram, because a lot of people think that actually the whole, following and unfollowing technique or just tactic is a great one, but it isn't. It pisses everyone off, and it doesn't make any sense because, if somebody is just following me, I don't even remember them. I don't even just mind. I don't even see that they are following me, unless they're just really fucking famous and have such a blue kind of checked mark, besides their name. This is totally something that I will always check out if I see it. Often, I get just really so many notifications a day that often I just don't see it. It's might be like, I'm just so, important and whatever. I'm not. But it's just what it is. I'm posting 10 fucking posts a day, and even if I get only 10 likes on each, I will just get 100 fucking messages and 100 just kinda just really, really small pop-ups showing me, okay, this certain person just liked your fucking post, and this over and over and over and over and over again. And that was really getting hard, especially if you have a lot of content, in general. Then some other posts will also get some likes and whatsoever, which also makes it a lot more difficult to actually see the important ones, and especially also comments. It's totally something that I should check on more. I just remember me on checking it more as well. But yeah. Part 6. Should I start with part 6? There's quite only a little bit left on it. Should I let it be it? I kind of feel like it. I don't know. Actually, only 2 things, but actually then the further reading and the action steps and whatsoever. No, I think this should be a thing for the next episode, even though it might be a little bit too less, because I'm not really, bored of it and whatsoever, but I quite feel like, this is, the really great time to stop it there, for me not being too impatient and quite running out of time, so that I actually kind of have to just really, force myself to go through it and force myself to be concentrated and force myself to actually deliver a good performance or whatever you want to call it and whatsoever. So I quite think like, okay, I would just rather do better posts for the next day, social media, and rather than just kind of forcing myself to go through the last two things. Is it actually the last? Yeah, actually the last two things, which are, you know, yeah, it's quite a bit, I would say. Let's see. Yeah, it's definitely quite a bit. But we have been through quite a bit as well, on this today's episode, which always is great for me when I just feel okay. I provided value for other people. Speaking went well, so therefore the episode might not be as fucking boring as when I'm just really not into talking, and when talking just really isn't going that way that well as I just want it to be. It's just great to have such episodes as today. But yeah, I just really hope you have a wonderful day, or you had a wonderful day, and or a wonderful night, whatever time zone you're in. And I just really want you to be happy. This is something that actually I've been thinking about today, and recently quite a lot. Is that which is something that totally makes sense. Is you should rather create a product for people that are already there than just making a product and then searching for the people who actually need your product, which is kind of basically what I'm doing, or I quite feel like I'm doing. I'm just providing whatever I want, and then I just see that I just will some kind of get it to some people, which wasn't the best way for me to start, I think, but I'm such quite so much in that I feel like, okay, even though I haven't just started in the correct way or in the best way or in the most kind of just in the best way, I think I still got a pretty great chance that I just really make it and just really get to something, because I'm putting out so much that I quite feel like there is no way around that. After some time, if it's a year, if it's 2 years, hopefully in a few months, that I just really get put on and everything will be just exponentially rising and whatever. But yeah, I think this is it with the episode. 32 minutes is actually, I think, quite well, especially also for the podcast. But yeah, so I hope you have the success, the wealth, the health, the happiness, especially the happiness, because it is important. And yeah, please do not forget about your legacy. Just always be nice to the people. Always try to be the best person to be around with. And always just to be kind of not liked by everyone, because this is just not, going well. But just focus on your legacy. Don't be a fucking asshole, and don't just fuck with people. Just, look at also your karma if you're believing in it. And yeah, and also give back to other people. So just, giving back just feels nice, and I think it's just really contributing your life and also your happiness. So therefore, just doing it, in my point of view, is really great. And with that being said, I love you, and I see you.